finish up today real quick with when we go to something else that's not Star Wars, some of the other fandom out there in a world between fandoms.
Ah, finally,
There
not
you
that
go.
screeching sound.
That's for you. No more TARDIS blowing your eardrum. Some Game of Thrones for OT out
It
there.
was so inconsistent because sometimes I'd be like, and other times I'd be like,
Yeah.
no.
So real quick, I'm not gonna go into best of 2022 and all the fandom. There's too much stuff to talk about. But just stuff we didn't get to talk about that I love at the end of the year. Wednesday, I love that show. I don't know if you got a chance to watch
I did.
it.
It was very good. It's like Harry Potter, but without the raging transphobia. Awesome.
Just take that part out and you have a great show.
Yeah.
I love when we watch it twice here at my house.
It got renewed. It was
Yes,
very,
I
very
mean,
fun.
come on. That's apart from Stranger Things, that's gonna be one of the biggest hits that Netflix has had in a long time, and it's just hit with everyone. And then Willow, keeping with Disney Plus, love Willow. It just ended this past week on Wednesday. A lot of people asking for season 2, renew Willow. I'm on that hashtag. I joke, and I don't take this in a bad way, that Willow was the Hobbit in this crop of fantasy shows out there. When you talk about House of the Dragon and Rings of Power, Willow was in this little corner, very laid back. You haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it. No.
Okay, because I think you said you haven't watched the movie. It's not something that you grew up with. I think that helps. I watched the movie 20 years ago or whatever, and I wasn't this, Willow, give me more Willow. And I rewatched it like 2 weeks before the show came out to make sure that I could connect a few things. And it does connect, kind of names and things. But if you don't know anything about the world, it doesn't matter. You can go straight in and you'll be fine. And I think you might enjoy it more than if you were a hardcore fan and you go into this show and you're like, oh, this doesn't track.
Okay.
But it's a very different show. Of course, it's not Rings of Power. It's not House of the Dragon. It's very modern. Let's say that. And some people had issues with it. And that's what I love. It separates itself from the other fantasy shows out there. It takes maybe 2 or 3 episodes to start getting into with all the characters that you're following and kind of liking a few of them. But by the end, you're in with these guys, this group. They are on a quest, but the quest is kind of secondary. It's more about the characters and each of their stories. And I think there's like 5 main characters, and you get enough with each one of them that you know why they're the way that they are, and you're invested in all of their stories, that by the end, everything kind of clicks, and it's great payoff for all the characters. So I do recommend it. And it's one of those shows that just came out a couple of months ago. I wasn't, we'll all get it. You got Empress Nest is there, so I'll watch it. Great show. You talked about no transphobia in Wednesday. You have a great LGBT representation on this show. So just for that, you should give it a shot. But the show itself, I love almost every episode. And by the end, I want more. I really miss this show now. No. All right. So
hopefully it gets renewed.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. Because we've been seeing with a lot of the HBO Max and Netflix, they're just canceling shows. One season, I just cancel it. Not giving enough time to breathe. And shows like this need 2 or 3 seasons to find their footing, and we're not seeing that.
It's weird because they're still finding their footing with streaming, and it's gonna get some heartbreaks. So
Paige Turner's Brenner saying, I think House of the Dragon was his friend. It was so great.
Could I mention just one thing from a random fandom? Jello Jackets. It's I think it's a Showtime show or Paramount Plus. I can't remember. But it's a great show. If you guys like Lord of the Flies, it's a very twisted version of that, and it's crazy. And I loved it. I really, really loved it. Season 2 is coming out soon.
We should do a little segment here on World Between Fandoms, so a show that people might not be following, or because I don't have Paramount Plus or Showtime, so I don't know anything about that. So maybe a little plug like that for some weird show might be something to add.
Paramount Plus is sure, whatever. Like
you don't want to say
it's good. I like Paramount Plus, and it's not available in Puerto Rico, so I have to use a VPN.
So you're stealing it. That's what you're saying here. You're stealing.
No, I'm paying for it. I'm paying for Paramount Plus, and I'm paying for a VPN because for some reason Paramount doesn't think Puerto Rico is a part of the United States.
No,
so it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Like I said, my I mentioned I've been up since 3:55 in the morning. Drove my in-laws to the airport. They left. They're back in Puerto Rico. My wife spoke with them, and they're ready to leave. Because just getting out of the airport was hell. Even the
Really?
taxi drivers wouldn't let them pass. Just walking, the taxi drivers wouldn't let them pass. It's like either get on the taxi, their sons were picking them up, and just getting out of the airport took them like an hour just to get out. So anyway,
Wow. Okay.
Paramount Plus is not in Puerto Rico, so let's make a hashtag about it. Paramount for PR.
I actually know someone that works for Paramount, and I'm constantly like, what's going on?
Yeah. So, Oti, before we leave, we mentioned that we're going to talk about this before we started. Tomorrow starts a new HBO show, Last of Us,
Yes,
with Pedro Pascal, known as the Mandalorian, Game of Thrones. You're a big fan of this video game. I never got to play. I know it has to do with zombies, but just real quick, kind of a setup for the series. Maybe what we can expect for this premiere tomorrow.
So it's about zombies, definitely, but it's not The Walking Dead. Like, the show takes place in a post-apocalyptic zombie world, but the story is really about these two characters and their very complex relationship. How they meet, how they grow with each other, what they learn from each other, how each other helps them grow from past trauma, and what they do for each other. And they're not great people. They're gonna do some horrible things throughout their story, and not just in season 1, because if it goes to season 2, the second game goes places. And I'm thrilled to see people take this ride. I think it's one of, story-wise, it's probably my favorite video game ever. And I love those characters, and I can't wait to have my heart shattered because of them again.
Oh, wow. All right. Since you're know the game so much, watching the trailers, does it seem to be
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it seems to be very faithful to it. I've seen some interviews where one of the creators of the show is the director of the game and the writer, so you have that involvement, and he's like, there's gonna be changes, but it's to enhance the story. It's gonna be in service to the story, and the little changes are to make some moments a little bit bigger. So I'm very excited to see what those changes are.
Yeah. This for me is going to be like House of the Dragon. I'm going into it with zero knowledge of it, zero expectations, and let's see what happens. So very excited to talk with you about this every week, because you're going to have that knowledge, and it's going to be fun.
I forgot it's coming out tomorrow, and when you told me when we were starting, I was like, it's coming.
Yeah. All right. So I think that does it for our first episode of 2023, first episode of season 6 of Radio Rebellion. Oti, we survived 1 week. We'll be back next week with episode 4 of The Bad Batch. We'll talk about some Star Wars news that have been happening this past couple of weeks. And then, of course, we'll do a world between fandoms. And we'll talk about Last of Us. And I'll bring one weird show that I might be watching for other people to check out. I won't say Doctor Who, even though, yes, I'm still watching Doctor Who. But, Oti, you know what I'm going to ask you? Where can people find you?
You can find me over at Twitter, Instagram, and Hive at EP Star Wars, whatever it says down there. Oh my God, sorry.
Yeah, just a microphone.
But yeah.
All right, that's there. It's on the show notes. You can also find it, in the description of the show. Radio Rebel Pod, Twitter, Instagram, also Hive. I'm not using Hive that much anymore. I don't know. I lost the hype with it has gone down.
Hive was a hype, apparently.
Yeah. To me, I think I said it last time. It's Instagram with a retweet option right now. So
because Twitter didn't burn down like everyone thought it was.
Yeah, it's difficult. We're not gonna get into it, but freaking Elon Musk. Even though, he sucks. I'll say I have a Tesla, but he sucks. I know, kill me. I know people are gonna ask me to burn it down.
End it.
Well, if someone wants to buy me a car and make all the monthly
I'm still waiting on that asswipe to fix Puerto Rico's grid like his.
Yeah,
It's been 5 years now.
It's been a while, but he has a tunnel that you can get a taxi Tesla and drive 2 miles because subways don't exist, I guess.
Fuck him.
Anyway, we'll be back next week with Ready Rebellion and Star Wars podcast. Thanks for joining us, Brennan, Andrew, and everyone else. Sorry, I forgot who else was in the chat, but we'll be back next week. Stay safe, be safe, and may the Force be with you.